Good day and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I'm Mike Egabard here. Here are our top stories. Federal government declares Tuesday's public holiday for Eid Fitr celebration. Tinubu orders appointees to resign ahead of 2027 polls. And federal government tax reform must deliver fairness and not just revenue. And on the foreign scene, United States lawmakers summon Attorney General over Epstein files. And talking sports, AFCON final, roar deepens as Senegal heads to court. Now to the news in full. The federal government has declared Thursday, March the 19th, and Friday, March the 20th of 2026 as public holidays to mark this year's Eid Fitr celebration, signaling the end of the holy month of Ramadan. The announcement was made by the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, on behalf of the federal government. Now, in a statement released on Tuesday by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Madeleine Ajani, the minister congratulated Muslim faithful on the successful completion of the Ramadan fast. Tunji-Ojo urged Muslims across the country to uphold the virtues of love, generosity, peace, tolerance, and sacrifice, which are central to the Ramadan season. He also called on all Nigerians to use the festive period to pray for the nation's continued peace, unity, and prosperity. The minister further encouraged citizens to celebrate responsibly and extend kindness to the less privileged, reaffirming the government's commitment to national unity and peaceful coexistence. So the federal government says it's set to commence the 2026 phase of its Skill Up Artisan program aimed at empowering Nigerians with industry-related skills. The Director General of the Industrial Training Fund, Aziz Ogun, made this known during a visit to the examination centers where trainees serve for the city and guild mock exams nationwide. Now, according to a statement by the ITF Director of Press and Public Relations, Thomas Ungo, the selected trainees participated in the exam across 34 accredited centers and ITC office nationwide. The examination covered 9 key trades, including welding and fabrication, plumbing, scaffolding, electrical installation, auto mechanic, carpentry, cybersecurity, housekeeping, and hospitality services. Ogun noted that the program is designed to equip participants with globally recognized certification, while also expanding partnership with international bodies to boost competitiveness. The ITF says the new or next phase of the program will begin in the coming weeks, urging interested youth to register and take advantage of the opportunity to gain skills for both local and international markets. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed all political appointees seeking elective position in the 2027 general election to resign on or before March the 31st of 2026. The directive issued through the Office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation aligns with provisions of the Electoral Act and the timetable released by the Independent National Electoral Commission. It affects ministers, advisors, assistants, and heads of government agencies, commissions, and parastatals intending to participate in political primaries. Now, according to the circular signed by Judge Akume, all affected officials must submit their resignation letters before the deadline to ensure compliance with the electoral laws. The presidency says the move is aimed at promoting transparency, preventing abuse of office, and ensuring a level playing field for all aspirants. The directive comes as preparation intensifies for the 2027 general elections, with authorities emphasizing the need for credible and transparent electoral process. As Nigeria prepares for the 2027 general election, civil group Go Nigeria has raised concerns over public trust in the electoral process, now revealing that less than half of Nigerians have confidence in the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, in a statement titled "The Electoral Reform and the Sanctity of Nigeria's Democratic Future," conveners led by Atado Peterside called for urgent electoral reforms. They stress that credibility, transparency, and enforcement of electoral laws are essential to prevent violence, unaccountable governance, and weakened institutions. Surveys indicate distrust in hires in the South, South, and Southeast, while nearly 3/4 of Nigerians aged 18 to 35 report skepticism over free and fair elections. Go Nigeria urged that the 2026 Electoral Act be effectively implemented with stronger operational guidelines, digital safeguards, and transparent procedures to restore public confidence. The group reaffirmed its commitment to supporting voter registration, informed public debate, and stakeholders' engagement to ensure elections are trusted and decided by the people. Now, less than half of Nigerians trusting the electoral body. Go Nigeria warns that credible reforms are not just necessary, they are unavoidable if the 2027 polls are to strengthen democracy and prevent electoral crisis. Away from that, the federal government says the success of Nigerians' ongoing tax reforms will be measured not just by revenue generation, but by how fairly opportunities are distributed across society. The Minister of State for Finance and Chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee, Taiwo Oyedele, made this known at the launch of a purple book in Abuja. The policy document outlines strategies to promote gender equality and economic inclusion, particularly for women, youth, and marginalized groups. Now, speaking on behalf of the Minister Committee member, Albert Folorosho said that the reforms aim to simplify taxation, eliminate multiple tax burdens, and support small businesses, especially those in the informal sector. He added that measures such as VAT exemptions on essential goods are designed to protect low-income earners and encourage broader economic participation. Now, stakeholders, including development partners and private sector leaders, say the reform represents a major shift towards a more inclusive and efficient tax system as Nigeria pushes to strengthen its economic growth and social equity. Now, fresh pressure on the global aviation industry as Scandinavian Airlines announced plans to cancel at least 1,000 flights in April due to surging jet fuel cost. The airline CEO, Anko van der Werf, says fuel prices have doubled within just 10 days, describing the spike as a major shock to airline operations. However, SAS has earlier introduced fare increase to cushion the impact, but says the rising costs now force immediate flight reduction. The cancellations will largely affect domestic routes, especially within Norway, with limited disruption in Sweden and Denmark. Industry-wide concerns are also mounting as airline adjust operations amid rising oil price linked to escalating tension in the Middle East. Global carriers including Air France, KLM, Cathay Pacific, Air Indian, and Qantas has also raised fares or suspended selected routes as the aviation sector grapples with rising fuel costs and regional instability. Now, hundreds of new jobs are set to be created across the United Kingdom as Nigerian businesses expand operations, coinciding with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's state visit to Britain. The Nigerian leader arrived in London alongside First Lady Oluremi Tinubu for a two-day visit, the first by a Nigerian president in the UK in nearly 4 decades. He's scheduled to meet Prime Minister Keir Starmer with engagement at the Windsor Castle on Downing Street, aimed at strengthening bilateral ties. Now, major Nigerian firms, including Zenith Bank, has already begun expanding with new branches in Manchester expected to create jobs and boost trade links. Fintech companies like Limfin and MoneyPoint are also investing heavily, while partnerships across education and creative industries are set to deepen economic cooperation between both countries. Now, officials said the growing UK-Nigerian partnership, now valued at over £8 billion annually, is expected to drive job creation, innovation, and stronger economic ties between both nations. On that note, we need to go on a break now, but still be with us because we have news across the globe as well as sport news. Join us.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Nice to know you're still with us. Now, the foreign scene in the United States, a House Oversight Committee panel has summoned Attorney General Pam Bondi to testify over the handling of records linked to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The subpoena issued Tuesday compels Bondi to appear for a closed-up deposition on April 14, as lawmakers probe what they describe as possible mismanagement of federal investigation into Epstein and his associates. Now, the move follows bipartisan support, with both Republicans and Democrats backing the decision after a committee vote earlier this month. Lawmakers have raised concerns over partial release of millions of documents, many of which remain heavily redacted or withheld. Now, Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who introduced the motion, accused the Justice Department of withholding key information, insisting that victims deserve full transparency and accountability. The controversy continues to fuel scrutiny over the broader Epstein investigation, including his death in custody and the conviction of associates like Maxwell. Officials are expected to hold additional briefing this week, although lawmakers say this will not replace formal testimony. Still on the foreign scene, tension has escalated in the Middle East as multiple explosions rocked Baghdad following a reported drone and rocket attack targeting the United States Embassy. Eyewitness and security sources said the blasts were heard across the Iraqi capital late Tuesday, with air defense system intercepting incoming projectiles near the embassy compound. Officials confirmed that both drones and rockets were used in the attack, with at least one drone reportedly causing a fire within the embassy vicinity. A separate drone targeting a U.S. diplomatic and logistic facility at the Baghdad International Airport was also shot down. Now, shortly after the incident, the Iran-backed Hezbollah issued a statement demanding the withdrawal of all foreign troops, blaming the United States for ongoing instability in Iraq. The latest attack underscores rising tension in Iraq, long considered a proxy battleground between the United States and Iran, with repeated strikes targeting U.S. interests and allied groups in the region. Away from that, talking sport, the controversy surrounding the 2025 African Cup of Nations final is taking a new turn as Senegal reject the Confederation of African Football ruling and move to challenge the decision of the Court of Arbitration for Sports. Now, Confederation of African Football has awarded the title to Morocco after ruling that Senegal forfeited the final following a walk-off during the match in Rabat. Now, the appeal board overturned an earlier disciplinary decision, citing procedural flaws and declaring the match a 3-0 victory in favor of Morocco. Now, in response, Senegalese Football Federation has condemned the ruling as unfair and damaging to the credibility of African football. The Federation confirmed it will escalate the matter to the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Switzerland, insisting it will pursue justice and defend the interests of Senegalese football. Now, this dispute adds fresh tension to African football, with both sides now set for a legal battle that could determine the final outcome of the tournament. And still talking sports, Real Madrid has once again ended Manchester City Champions League dreams, defeating the English side 2-1 at the Etihad Stadium to complete a 5-1 aggregate victory and advance to the quarterfinals. The City faced an uphill battle after losing 3-0 in the first leg, but their challenge collapsed early after captain Bernardo Silva was sent off for a handball on the line. Vinicius Jr. converted the resulting penalty, putting Madrid firmly in control, but Erling Haaland pulled one for City before halftime, but Vinicius struck again in stoppage time to seal the victory. Champions League exit adds pressure on manager Pep Guardiola, with the Premier League title race sleeping and the League Cup final against Arsenal looming. Meanwhile, Madrid, despite unconvincing domestic form, continued the knockout stage mastery in Europe, with players like Federico Valverde and Vinicius proving decisive once again. For the fourth time in 5 seasons, Manchester City bow out to Real Madrid as European competition continues to be a stage where Madrid find the knockout magic. With that news brings us to the end of the news on Atlantic TV. I will always emphasize that if you have any newsworthy report and you want us to also come be a part of it, please do send to us different social media platforms that are there already on your screen, and we'll definitely oblige you. I still remain Michael Bugobadia. Bye for now.